Hey guys, it is Caleb from the Old Paths. We are back in the shed this week. We got a little bit of an update on the new space. Had a contractor come out and look at it, and it could potentially take a couple of months to get it done. So it's April 20th, I believe, at the time of recording this. Make sure, April 22nd. And it'll probably take, according to his timeline, almost into August. So until the house sells, we're going to be working out of the shed. So stay tuned. We'll tell you more about everything that's going on, and we'll show you what's happening at the Old Paths. All right, guys, so we're going to go pull our orders, and we'll be right back to show you what sold. All right, guys, so here we go on what sold. A pretty horrible weekend, I ain't gonna lie. 11 orders for $250. That is okay, because I have still yet to start listing. I haven't listed in about 60 days. I got really blessed that I was able to sell as much as I was the first 45 days of that. But now reality sets in, everything starts shrinking. I'm just happy to have sold 11 for $250 this weekend, but I'm about to start kicking it into high gear in here. I am going to go ahead and start listing some stuff. Since it's going to be 3 months, I can't be down that long. But let's see what sold. So first of all, we have a set of Corel Sandark coffee mug tea mugs. These sold the final set we had for $13.50. And the reason I took $13.50, it was a repeat buyer. She's bought several of these. So absolutely, I would go ahead and take less. And then we sold these 3 Heartfelt Creation stamp sets. All 3 of them sold for a total of $66.13. So that was a really good, helpful sale on the weekend. Sold this Stampin' Up! Cool Treats for $15.10. Sold these Philadelphia Eagle flags. Sold 2 of them to the same buyer for $13.22. If you're an Eagles fan, there's a cheap flag. They're like $6, $6.50 or so right now in the store. Sold this Buddy L vintage copper looking van for $15.29. Sold an ET LP record for $9.07. Sold From Our Front Porch to Your Kitchen cookbook for $10.36. Sold this Knox Gear PA head for $42.74. And you may be saying, well, that's cheap for a PA. It is, but if you look real close, you'll see the rust around stuff. It's got rusted screws and just some condition issues. And I knew it works, so you know it's still good, but I knew that would be an issue. So somebody out there will want to clean that up and fix it up. So I dropped the price considerably to help that be easier and more doable for somebody. Then we sold this ESDDI, I'm not sure how you say that. It's a flashlight for a camera. That sold for $36.33. Sold this little vintage Masterpiece Circle of Friends figurine. Trying to get up close. My camera is just not hardly wanting to do it. She sold for $9.56. And then finally this Matchbox auxiliary power truck. It's like a fire truck, alarm truck. And it sold for $6.97. And yes, that is our sales for the weekend. And I say this and I preach this all the time. You have to list if you want to sell. It is just part of it. All right, here we go. 11 total orders, 13 total items. Out the door this weekend for $250. Pretty low, pretty slow, but when you're not listing, what do you expect? We will take that for sure. All right, guys, so want to take just a couple minutes to talk about and touch on this topic. I think we're going to talk about the number one thing you can do to keep yourself successful on eBay. I know I've talked about this in the past, but this is a perfect time and a perfect example of what happens when you stop being consistent on eBay. When I was listing 10 and 20 a day, I was running anywhere from $200 to $300 a day average in sales on eBay. I have not consistently listed for 60 days. I've listed 3 or 4 days out of that 60. It's probably been 20 since I've listed anything, 15 or 20, since I've touched it. And we sold $250 the entire weekend. So when you break that down, that's less than $100 a day in sales, which is less than $50 a day in profit-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. So what is the number one thing you can do to keep your sales high, to keep your business successful? The number one thing in my book is consistency in listing. If you want to be consistently selling, now listen, I'm not saying that if you want to throw an old video game on eBay and sell it, you can't do that. You can. It may take you an hour, it may take you a week, it may take you a month, who knows? But if you want to make this a viable business and you want to sell stuff every single day, you need to list something consistently. We was doing 6 days a week, 20 listings a day, and I tried to shoot for around $300 in listings a day. That was my goal. I have failed tremendously during the move to maintain any normalcy in listing. As I said, I've listed 3, 4, maybe 5 days total in the last 60. And I turned on a sale which carried me through for the first 30, say 40 days or so. But the last 15 or 20 have really fell off, and that's my fault. I own it. It's not eBay's fault. I don't expect them to push a seller that's not doing the work. That's just the way it goes. But my number one tip, my number one piece of advice would be, if you're wanting to make a run at being a full-time reseller, if you're wanting to sell something every single day, if you're wanting this to produce regular income, do the work, get out there and list at least something. It doesn't have to be 20. It doesn't have to be 10. I was doing 5 a day for a long time. 5 a day was producing $150 to $200 a day. It's consistency. That's the key. Find what works for you, whether that be 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 a day. You know, I've got it in my mind right now that when we get fully moved, when I am sitting in my new shed, I call it a shed. It's not a shed. It's actually a guest house. For those of you who didn't see it, go back and watch the last video. I show you around the unfinished guest house on the new property and give you some layout ideas. And the contractor did come. We talked about everything. We're just waiting on the estimate and the time frame. But, you know, when I get there, when I'm set up, when everything's laid out, in my mind, I'm going to shoot for probably the rest of the year. I'm going to try to do like 40 a day. I know that sounds stupid. It sounds crazy, but I'm going to try to get my business to explode for the rest of the year, which will probably be August, September, October, November, December. So probably 5 months. I want to see what I can accomplish. I'm down to 1,200 listings right now, 12 and some change. I want to get it back around that 2,000 listing mark. I would like to get it to where it produces at least $500 in sales a day. That's my next goal, $500 a day average. Now that is, listen, I've talked about setting realistic goals. I know I can do it. You know, doing the work of listing is mostly mental. It really, if you use business policies and you set it up as easy as you can to where you don't have to check all these boxes, and you do an automated promotion. If you do those things, check off all that stuff you can before you enter the listing, and then you don't have to do it while you're listing. Use description templates, things like that saves you time. I can sometimes list an item in a minute if I've got everything laid out ahead of time. Now, if you count all the prep work and everything, let's say 2 minutes of listing. So 40 listings a day. Add in all the time that you have to stop and do a little research, and all the times that it's going to just be push pause, run to the bathroom, all that. 40 listings a day, I think I can do. I think I can. Now, every single day, I don't know. But my goal is to try to get to 40, and if I get past 40, bank it. And then if I get to 40 the next day and get past it, bank it. And just keep banking the overage. I have done 80 and 90 a day before. I don't think I've ever broke 100 just because we got other responsibilities. If I could sit in my shed for 12 hours one day with nothing else to do, I know I could break 100, no problem. But there's other things in life that come along. But 40 a day, bank what's left over, and I really, really believe I can make that goal happen. But we'll see, and that may be a fun part of seeing what happens, in the future as you follow along on our journey. But I can't wait to see it, see what actually happens. I've never went 40 a day before. I've dropped 30 a day, a couple of days in between my 20 a day challenge, just here and there, but not very often. So I've never consistently been above 20. I know what 20 will do, and if 40 doubles what 20 does, it just in logical thinking, if it does that, that's 250 to 300. Would that be 500 to 600 a day average? I don't know. We'll see. But that is my number one piece of advice. If you are a new reseller and you've just found us, thank you for being here. Subscribe if you will. We'd really appreciate it. But just be consistent with whatever time you have, whatever energy you have, whatever availability you have, sourcing items you have. Be as consistent as possible and watch it pay off. I promise you, consistency pays off. Do the work, guys, and it will pay you back. All right, guys, I appreciate you so much being here. Sorry this video wasn't more exciting. I know that, usually we have 25, 30 items for close to $1,000 going out, and there's more to learn and more to see. But I just want to keep it real. It's 11 items for $250. That is what it is. My fault. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting us, for following us. Don't forget, August 4th, coming up very soon now. May, June, July, August. It's 3 months and some days away. Is the Highway 127 Picking the Plateau with me, Bama Jaybird Josh, representing the Two Old Guys Reselling podcast, and then Ben, Shane, Alex, and now Chris, Easy Pickens, those guys from the Reseller Locker Room podcast. All of us, they're our co-hosts putting on that event. Tickets are on sale, $25 a piece. Kids 12 and under are free. We really hope to see you there. We're not doing this for money. We're doing this to try to make a great event. So if you can at all, come hang out with us for that event. Come be a part of it with us. We're going to have great home cooked type foods. We're going to have a great environment, family friendly, nothing to worry about in the way of alcohol or cussing or anything like that. Just come hang out, have a good time, and share that Friday night with us. We hope to see you there. But thank you guys once again for being here. Thank you for all the support. We appreciate you so very much. And until next time, keep seeking the old path.